Welcome to a new edition of Harness Central. I'm Harold Howe, and we're here in Stratford, Ontario with Randy Pettapiece, MPP for Perth Wellington, but maybe more importantly, PC critic for horse racing and rural affairs. Randy, thanks for joining us. Now, the PC party has offered up a 5-point plan to revitalize racing. We've read about it here in the horse racing industry, but can you put a little meat on the bone?
Well, we think that our plan will certainly help the horse racing business get back on its feet. It introduces accountability measures and responsibility that people involved in the business. We know where the money's going to give taxpayers certainly more bang for their buck. And we also want to introduce new, if tracks want to introduce new gaming tables to their system, and that's okay. We want to let the industry grow and put a little more stability back into the horse racing business.
In real simple terms, the amount of money that the horse racing people are racing for is, depending how you cut it up, 35 to 40% of what it was 2 years ago. Under the PC plan, how would that be addressed?
We want to put the SART program back the way it was with more accountability measures so we know where that money's going. I can't say that the purses are going to be as high as they were before. I think they're probably going to be lower, but they should be at a level where the horse racing people can make a living. Right now, there are still farms closing up. The breeding industry has been thrown into real turmoil. I was at a farm yesterday down in LaSalle. He's down to about half of the horses that he used to have. So it's just a lose-lose situation it is right now.
You know, the NDP party have jumped into the fray, and they've also thrown out this announcement that they're going to reverse the plan. We don't know the details there, but from what you can gather, how does the PC proposal differ from what they're suggesting?
Well, the PC proposal never supported getting rid of the SART program in the first place. I think we have to remember that back in 2012, when that budget was passed, the NDP allowed that to pass. And this is just a smokescreen on their part, trying to deflect away criticism as to what they did back in 2012. And now they're trying to play catch up. So really the proposal they have on the books is just a smokescreen, and it's frivolous.
This is mid-November. Why now is this coming forward? 20 months since the Liberal Party first announced they were doing away with the slots at racetrack program.
Well, if you look at our white papers on agriculture, you'll find that we had this plan already started about a year and a half ago. When the transition panel's report came, the last report was a month ago, came through. All of a sudden they want to get rid of 7 racetracks or 9 racetracks, and including Fort Erie, which has been going on for 116 years. That's right in our leader Tim Hudak's riding. And when we found that, we thought it's about time we got going on this thing, even though we had proposed these changes a year and a half ago.
In real simple terms, the people in the racing community more or less are saying the deal we had with the province was open to adjustment. And maybe you could have took 2% from the racetrack side, 2% from the racing side. It still leaves an industry. We wouldn't be wild about being happy with it, but it would still be a go instead of more or less throwing it under the bus like has happened. Realistically, can the clock be turned back?
The clock can't be turned back, but I think we can give the people involved in the industry hope for the future. They are migrating to the States right now, a good proportion of them, and we want to go down and certainly find out what the states are doing. Pennsylvania, Ohio, who are running these types of systems. We want to make sure that we have get their advice on how we would run it up here. The government needs to get out of the gaming business. We want to let private investors who know how to run the gaming business get involved. We regulate it, and that's what we believe we should be doing. And from what I've heard of from the horse people I've talked to in the past few weeks since I've taken on this portfolio, they think we have a good plan, and it can work if it's implemented properly.
Right. You talk about your portfolio involving rural affairs and so forth. It seems like right now there's so much focus on Woodbine. But realistically, Woodbine's going to survive. It's just so big. The concern is in the hinterland, it seems, and certainly the breeders have been right at the back of the bus. The people who are racing the horses are racing for a fraction, and it's more or less pitted track against horseman, horseman against breeder, breeder against track. I mean, people now are so, I guess, disillusioned. They might be saying to you, why should we believe the PCs?
Well, for one thing, we're the party that instituted this program in the first place back in the late 90s, and people should remember that. But you know, if you have a flat tire in a car, you don't throw the whole car away. And that's what this government has done. So we propose to put the SARP program back, and people are used to that program. However, and it'll be worked out as to who gets what as far as the revenue is concerned. It'll change a bit. But we need to get that done sooner than later. We have offered the Premier our program. We have said, look, Premier, take this program, get it done, and get these people back into some stability. And she refuses to do that. And that's too bad. You know, people in the business, they love this business. That's all they've known, a lot of them. And now she's thrown out, last count we had somewhere around 9,000 people out of work. And that doesn't include the horse owners that have left the business. You know, if I was 50, 60 years old, I don't really know what I would retrain for if I'd been in this business all my life. So we've asked her to get this thing going sooner than later, and a plan that's going to work, because I don't think anybody has faith in what the transition panel has brought forward.
So you brought us up to speed, but now where do we go from here, between now and, let's say, spring?
Well, we think it's time to change the team. We would like to have an election this spring, but the NDP keeps propping this government up, so we don't know what they're going to do. They've done it through successive budgets. They sit in the House and call the government corrupt and everything else, but they won't stand up for the citizens of Ontario and get rid of this government. It's not only the horse racing industry they've messed up. You know, you look at all the other scandals they've been involved with, and yet the NDP keeps propping them up. So it's going to be up to them. The NDP hold the balance of power. If we can have an election this spring, we believe we can get rid of this government.
Randy, thank you very much for your thoughts, and we'll see how it all plays out.
Well, thanks very much for being here.
Harold Howe with Randy Pettapiece, giving you the Harness Racing Edge.